You're listening to Keith Sports News. Is this on? Yes. Okay. Well, the time has come. That's right. Welcome to the first episode of Keith Sports News, or KSN for short. Yes. You may know me from my main channel, Eric Super Magnificent, which is basically my vlogging and gaming channel. I decided to do a separate channel only for sports talk related because I'm going to do this every week. Twice a week. Every Monday and Friday. Why? Because I'll be talking about what happened before the weekend and what happened after the weekend. Yes. So, and we are on, the most wonderful time of the year. It's been crazy, but fun. Have fun in life, This is something that I wanted to do for a while, and I think I picked the right time to do it. So yes, you can see I got my microphone here. This is on a laptop. Quick story, I have never done a video from my laptop outside. This is my first time doing this. So I will do this outdoors as much as possible. Right now, winter season has just begun. I live in South Louisiana. The winter is great down here. If you live up north, your winter probably already started a month or two ago. It must be freezing and snowing. In the summer, it's the opposite. Down here, the summer is miserable, and I probably shouldn't be doing episodes outside during the summer, unless if I wake up super early. Okay, so far everything's working. That's great. I have my water because I will be talking a lot. So it's important to stay hydrated. Yes. Okay. The shirt that I'm wearing, it's a NASA shirt that I got in Houston, Texas from 2017, believe it or not. And this is my US hat. I got this at Lids, the hat store at my local mall, the Mall of Louisiana to be exact. All right. So this is a sports talk channel. We'll see how this goes. Who knows if anyone's going to be watching or listening to these episodes, but hey, just do the best you can. That's all you can do, Just like my main channel. So yeah. All right. So, every Monday and Friday I'll be doing these episodes. However, this recording is on a Thursday. So, as much as possible, I will record these episodes a day in advance and release them the next day, okay? All right, so yes, why is this channel called Keith Sports News? My main channel is Eric Super Magnificent. Well, quick story, my first name is Keith, it's Eric. My middle name is Keith. So I decided to go this channel by my middle name, Keith, so that you guys won't get mixed up, alright? My family calls me Keith, but my friends called me Eric. So yeah. Alright, these episodes will be 20 to 30 minutes each as of right now. Some episodes in the future might be longer, depending on how much there is to talk about, okay? So far, it's going well. Yes, look behind me, the swimming pool. That's right. The sun is going down. It is, I'm recording this at after 4 p.m. You know how dark it gets early during the winter season. So yeah, it's actually a very nice day out here to do this episode. All right, so what are we going to talk about? Well, this is episode 1. I'm going to talk about the sports leagues that I follow or watch. Okay? And then we'll talk about, since this is on a Friday, we're going to talk about the big sports weekend, and that is the main thing is the college football playoff, the 12-team playoff format for the first time. Okay? So, the sports leagues that I follow, this is not in any particular order, but I'll save my favorite sports league for last. Okay? As y'all know, the most popular league in America is the National Football League. Okay? I used to be a big fan of that years ago. Quick story. I live in South Louisiana, so I used to be a Saints fan, New Orleans Saints fan. The Drew Brees era. Sean Payton, Drew Brees era. That was their golden era. And then that year, it was almost 6 years ago, where they got screwed out of the Super Bowl. And that pissed a lot of fans off. Even non-Saints fans were pissed off about that, including me. After that, I just like, I can't watch this league anymore. But then the following year was 2020, the COVID year. It was so weird for everyone. And then fast forward a few years later, I'm slightly getting back into it. But I'm not a huge fan of it like I was over 10 years ago or so. But I do know what's going on, okay? And I also, I watch the highlight show and I would listen to a lot of sports talk podcasts. And that's the main reason why I want to do my own. Why not do my own sports talk episodes? So, yes. So, yeah. The National Football League. Not a big fan of it, but I do know what's going on. Okay? At least the big stories. Alright? All I know is that the Kansas City Chiefs are back-to-back Super Bowl champions. They're trying to become the first team to three-peat in the Super Bowl. Win 3 Super Bowls in a row, which has never happened before. That team has one loss. They are the best team, but some people say that they're not the best team because of the way they play their games. Some of them, a lot of their wins are close wins, but hey, a win is a win. That's all that matters. It's not really like college football where it's all about the rankings. There really is no rankings in the NFL. So, because this is pro football. Professional players. Even the worst team. What's the worst team? Is it there's some bad teams. You got the New England Patriots, Carolina Panthers, Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans. I think they all have like 3 wins. So you have some good players on those bad teams, Not, that's the way it is. Every league, you got good teams, average teams, and you got the bad teams. So and you got the AFC and the NFC. The AFC has a lot of great teams. But back when I was a big fan of it, it was the opposite. The NFC was the better conference. Yes. So, that's that. So, we are in winter season. The last few weeks of the NFL's regular season, and then after that will be the playoffs in January. Oh, you hear a helicopter. So you might hear some noises in the background, so please bear with me. I'm doing the best I can, alright? Can I see the helicopter? I cannot. I can't see it, but it is what it is. Okay, so how many? So we are approaching the end of 2024. All right. So how many episodes will I do in 2024? Well, this is one. You got Monday, the 23rd, Friday, the 27th, and then Monday, the 30th. So 4 episodes to wrap up 2024. And those 4 episodes will be kind of like special type of episodes where I'll talk about other things that are somewhat sports related. And then after New Year's, we will get into the 2025 sports calendar season. Yes. So, episode 1, I'm just going to talk about my favorite sports leagues and the college football playoff, the upcoming games. All right. Other sports leagues that I like. Well, I do like tennis. Lately I haven't watched much tennis because this is the off season. What I mainly watch is like the 4 Grand Slams, the Australian Open, which begins in about a month from now in January, the French Open or Roland Garros, Wimbledon, the most famous tournament in tennis history, and then the U.S. Open in New York. All right. I mainly watch those. But years ago, I would watch more tennis. But this year, not so much. I think it's because we're in a new era. But that's okay. So, yes, I do like watching the 4 majors for tennis, men and women. I'm more into women's tennis because there's more upsets, there's more surprises. I enjoy it more. I have a lot more favorite female players than male players. So, but I started watching tennis in 2016. I remember the first finals I watched was the women's finals, the 2016 Australian Open. Then I got more into it in 2017 and 2018. I watched it a lot more back then, but now not as much. But I still follow the 4 majors. So the Australian Open begins in about a month from now. And that is my favorite. Out of the 4 Grand Slams, the Australian Open is my number 1 favorite. I just like the way it looks. And it's just great. I'm ready for it. So, yeah. And the reason why it's in January is because Australia, the continent, or the country, I guess it's both a continent and a country. It's a below the equator, okay? And right now it's winter here. Down there it's summer. It's the opposite, okay? So basically it's June. The month of June is right now in Australia. So January, it'll be July. Okay? So that's why. All right. Other sports that I like watching. Winter. I do like watching curling. Curling is kind of a weird winter sport. Here's the thing. It's mainly, I know Canada, they really love curling, and they also love hockey. Okay, I get the Canadian sports channels, and mainly TSN. TSN, I will say, that is my favorite sports network of all time. And I live nowhere near Canada, but I love watching their Sports Center highlight show. It's great, you know. Hockey, that's Canada's favorite sport. I don't watch hockey. I really only watch it during the playoffs. But whenever I watch TSN Sports Center, they will show me hockey highlights. Because the American version, Sports Center on ESPN, they don't talk much about hockey, even though ESPN broadcasts NHL games. It's kind of weird, you know. But for hockey, I don't really watch the NHL until around the playoffs. Now, the NBA, the National Basketball Association, that happens during the NHL season. At the same time, it's weird. Both leagues having their season pretty much at the exact same time. The NHL season started like 2 weeks before the NBA season started, but it's like the same thing, the same format. They'll play, I think they play like 80 games, and then their playoff format is the same. You got 16 teams in the playoffs for both leagues, and it's all best of 7, you know? So it's hard to follow both leagues, but I am not an NBA fan. I've never have been an NBA fan, but I will know what's going on once the playoffs begin. Okay? I really only watch the NBA finals. That's about it. So I'm kind of more into March Madness for college basketball because it's totally different. It's one game. You win, you advance. You lose, you're out. There's no best of 7. There's no best of 5. There's no best of 3. It's just one game. It's one giant tournament. Okay? So. But yeah, like I said, TSN Sports Center, they'll show basketball and hockey highlights. That's about it until the playoffs. When it comes to me watching NBA and NHL games, it'll just be highlights on TSN Sports Center. All right. So, what else here? What else do I like? Well, there's certain sports that I will watch during a certain time of the year. Okay. What I like to watch during a certain time of the year, horse racing. Mainly the Triple Crown. You got the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness Stakes, and the Belmont Stakes. So the Triple Crown begins with the Kentucky Derby, and that's always on the first Saturday of May. Yes, a lot of people watch that. A lot of people go to the racetrack. It's called Churchill Downs in it's in Kentucky. Is it in Louisville? I forget. It's in Kentucky. So I love watching that. I've been watching that every year for over 10 years, you know. And then the Preakness Stakes would be 2 weeks after the Kentucky Derby. And the cool thing is, the Preakness Stakes is always around my birthday. My birthday's on May 19th. So whatever that weekend is, that's the Preakness. And then 3 weeks after the Preakness will be the Belmont Stakes. So yeah, I really enjoyed watching that. And also during the month of May, mainly Memorial Day weekend, is the Indy 500. That's really like the only race car event that I watch is the Indy 500 because it's the biggest race car event in the world, and it's been around for over 100 years. Yeah. Okay. Another sports league that I follow is Major League Baseball, the MLB, but it's kind of based on my interest in the league. It's kind of like the NFL. I used to be a big fan of the MLB, not as much now. It's the same with the NFL. The reason why I'm not a big fan of it much anymore is because of all the changes that they made to the league. I'm not really a fan of the changes, but I know a lot of people are a fan of that. But, I didn't. It's not the same league when I first started watching it, It is what it is, You can't please everybody, you know? Just like the college football playoff. You can't please everyone. No matter what they do, not everyone's going to be happy. But if you have a lot more people that like it than more people that dislike it, then that's a positive thing. But listen, I still follow the MLB. I don't really watch games much, though. I kind of just follow the news and the stats, and I would listen to sports talk podcasts so that they'll give me news on what's going on. The biggest thing that just happened not too long ago was Juan Soto signed a huge contract with the New York Mets. That's the last thing I know about. So, but I always enjoy the postseason. The MLB postseason, in my opinion, is the best out of the four major sports. The MLB postseason is still pretty entertaining, in my opinion. So, right now it's the off season. So that's what they do. They'll trade players. Players will become a free agent. Where will they sign and all that? So, yeah. And, I'm wearing my U.S. hat, right? Earlier this year, we had the Summer Olympics in Paris. I love the Olympics, both summer and winter. I like both. I watched so much of the Paris Olympics. I really enjoyed it. I know the opening ceremony was a little weird, but I really enjoyed that opening ceremony. I was not bored. I watched the whole thing. Yeah, I know it's different. They're not in the stadium. I get that, but that's what they wanted to do. I didn't. I know some people criticize it, but I didn't. I was still entertained. But I know the next Summer Olympics will be probably the biggest one ever because it's in the USA, Los Angeles, in 2028. And a little over a year from now will be the Winter Olympics in 2026 in Italy. I like the Winter Olympics as well. And I think I heard that NHL players can come back to the Winter Olympics. Or is it only USA? I don't know. But for the past two Winter Olympics, there was no NHL players. They didn't pause the season because of the Olympics. They used to. I think 2014 was the last time they paused the season. Oh boy, did you hear that? Yeah, that scared me. Like I said, you might hear some noises. The house that I live in is right on the beginning of the entrance to the neighborhood, near the entrance. So you'll hear some cars going by and all that. So, yeah. And now I lost what I was talking about. Don't you hate when that happens? You're in the middle of your talking and something distracts you and then you forget what you were talking about. Man, that happens a lot to me. But eventually, I'll think about it and then, oh, I remember. But now I just forgot what I just talked about. What was I talking about? The MLB? I feel like I wasn't talking about that until I got distracted. Oh well, I can talk more about this for the next 3 episodes before the end of this year, alright? Okay, how about we get into the big thing in the playoffs since we are over 24 minutes now. The biggest thing this weekend that I will be following is the college football playoff. There is a game tonight. I said tonight even though this is technically recorded on a Thursday, but you're going to see this on a Friday, so that's why I said tonight. The first game of the 12-team playoff format. So on my main channel, I did 2 prediction videos, Bowl Mania, where you predict all the bowl games. It's so many. I think it's 47. And then I did another prediction video only for the playoff. My main thing that I'm focusing on is the playoff because this is the first year 12-team playoff format after 10 years of having the 4-team playoff format. I was hoping it would be 8 teams first, but it's weird. You're going from 4 to 12. Why can't you do 8 and then 12? And now I heard in the future, maybe not next year, but the year after, they're probably going to try and do 16. But 12, you have to have 4 teams have to have a bye. 8 teams, no one gets a bye. It's just quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the championship game. So, yeah. Like I said, no matter what they do, no matter what the committee does, people are not going to be happy. It is what it is. But I'm looking forward to this playoff. This is a new era for a lot of people. Hey, it's a new era for me doing this sports talk episodes. So, yes, I did 2 prediction videos, one for Bowl Mania, the non-playoff games, and then I did a separate video of me talking about the playoff games. All right? So, if you want, I will put the either in the links in the description or in the end screen of this video, which will be the last 20 seconds of this video. All right. So yeah, you got 4 games. The first game is Indiana against Notre Dame. And, Notre Dame is a big favorite. Remember, if you follow college football, the first playoff games, all 4 games are on campus, the home games. Notre Dame gets the home game. All right. And then Saturday, you got the 3 remaining games. The first one, or the second one, is SMU at Penn State. Okay. Then after that, you got Clemson at Texas. And then the biggest game is Tennessee at Ohio State. 9 versus 8. So these are all big matchups. And all the home teams are the favorite to win those games. 3 of the 4 games will be freezing. The weather will be freezing, okay, because they're all up north. The game in Austin, Texas will be much warmer, okay. So I did 2 brackets. The first one was really like my main bracket that I was talking about. Then the second one is more of a kind of like a random bracket. I'm like, okay, I can see this team beating this team. Okay, let's have this team beating this team instead. Okay, something different for a change. So I will see which one of my 2 brackets will succeed, hopefully. Okay. All right. So I will be following those games. The weird thing is those 2 games, two of those games are on TNT, and I don't know why. Why are they on TNT? Who's going to be the announcers? Is it going to be the CBS announcers? Because, CBS, TNT, TBS, True TV, how they're all partners for March Madness? Well, they're all partners. They're part of Turner Sports, but I don't think it's called Turner Sports anymore. I think they're called TNT Sports. Ted Turner used to own those networks. So we'll see how their broadcast goes. But yeah. So on Monday, I will talk about all 4 of those games, my thoughts, and all that good stuff. All right. And we are approaching Christmas time. That's right. So we have Christmas lights out here. You can't see them because it's not dark yet. So I will do an episode when it gets dark so you can see the Christmas lights once they are lit up. Well, that was a great first episode. I really hope y'all enjoyed that. I enjoyed doing this as well. I think this was a success. So thank you for watching or listening. I'll be back on Monday to talk about the playoff games. If you want to see more of me, go to my main channel, Eric Super Magnificent, where I do vlogging and gaming videos. Until then, happy holidays. Have a great one. Enjoy the games. Be back next week. Bye-bye. That was a great first episode. Peace out. Thank you for listening to Keith's Sports News.